Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Here first. Okay, and you see that I'm logged in, and on the top I have Sony day1@GUI, and I have an access of S3 bucket, so I can just click on S3 service. Okay, I have a read access, right? So if I try to create a bucket, and I say my Sony bucket test, whatever it is, create a bucket. You would see that I'm failing it because access denied. Okay, because the policy which I attached is of read only, right? I cannot create bucket. I cannot do anything. I cannot upload anything because the policy says on the policy which I've attached, I said that only the read only access, and that too with a specific to the S3. If I see the services, I can see that. If I click on IAM service and I clicked on that, wait for some period of time. And then here you click on users. Yeah, and on the top you see that you need permission. You can't see users on this as well. You have two users already created. One was Raccoon and admin. You can't see that as well. And you can't see the user of your own which you created. Because the policy over here, my thing to talk about is the policy is very important term, right? So you create users and you align permissions to users. And how do you align the permissions to user? By creating policies. Okay. So you attach a policy to a user, and then that particular user will be able to perform the actions, whatever the policy speaks about. Okay. So when we created a user on GUI console, you saw that IAM password change policy was attached automatically because that's how it works. And the other access I have given is S3 access, right? Like this particular user can read the S3 objects or S3 buckets. So Sony Day 1 GUI is able to read the buckets, but when we try to create the bucket, it wasn't able to do that. Even on the case of IAM, we need permission to to do list users or to even do any action. So this particular user is limited to just do one thing. Okay, and all these things has been completely decided by the policies which you attach. Okay. So I hope the policy is clear, and policy plays a vital role is also very much clear to you guys. Okay, we'll come back to the screen again, and I'll do a login with the root user. All right, so sign in with the root user email address. I'm a root user, so I'll just stop sharing my screen again. Let me do a login. I don't know when the screen not in maximized state. I'm not able to share it with you guys. So okay, so I have to minimize and maximize multiple time. All right, so we'll go to IAM again. Okay, we go to users, and we saw how the users is going to create it. Okay, and what important role the policies is playing. Okay, so I'll just delete this user for now. Okay, and I'll create another user, but this time I'm going to do a login from a console. Okay, so add user. This is like Sony day 2 user. Sorry, Sony programmatic access. Okay, day 1. All right, and this time I want to have a programmatic access and next permission. Um, all right, attach existing policy. So I have a list of policies as you know now that whatever policy we attach is the actions we are attaching that a particular person or a user can take care of. Okay, we have two type of policy. One is being completely managed by AWS. They call it AWS managed policy. The other is customer managed policy, which has been created completely by and managed by completely by a customer. You cannot delete AWS managed policy because you don't own it, but you can delete the customer managed policy because you own it and you manage it. Okay, so policies are very important because they decide what actions will be taken care on behalf of what user. Okay, so if you have an access, okay, I wanted to give it an access of S3 where user can create a bucket, can list a bucket, or you know, a particular person can create and can upload the objects, can list the buckets, and so on. So that particular some I wanted to list down some of the actions. For example, the person can create a bucket, can list the bucket, but the person can upload an object as well inside a bucket, like files can be uploaded, but the person cannot delete the object. The person should not be able to delete it. Okay, so when I click on create policy, okay, so let's say choose a service. So what I'm doing right now is I'm creating a policy, which is a customer managed policy. And how do we create it? You just select a service, which service you wanted to give it an access on. You can select multiple services by clicking on, you know, I'll tell you how. But for now, I want it to give it to an S3. So I'll select the S3 service. Then we have actions over here. If you click on all actions, then this particular policy is going to give a complete access to all the actions of which can be taken against S3. But what I want is I want to list bucket, list all, sorry, list all my bucket or list bucket. Then I wanted to not list jobs bucket version. No, that's fine. Then I wanted to give permission that person can create bucket. That person can put object, and yeah, and then on permission management, sorry, not all, but I can say that the person can, yeah, that's fine, put object ACL, put bucket ACL, like access control list, but that should will confuse you, so forget about the permission management. Okay, so what I want is this particular person will be able to list my bucket, list all my bucket, list buckets. He will be able to create bucket and he will be able to put the object, but the particular person will not able to delete any of the objects. Okay, then on the resources, you select if you have a bucket already available and you want these actions to be happening up on a already created resource. These actions will happen to only those resources which you have already created. But if you want these actions to happen on all of the resources, then you will click on all resources. Okay, you can specify condition on that also, that okay, we'll talk about that moreover when will see on the S3. We can have a conditions on the basis of what we want the actions to be performed, that hey, this is the condition. For example, this particular action should be able to perform, or a person will able to perform this action when he belongs to this organization, or these actions will be performed when a person belongs to this organization. Okay, something like that.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
So yeah, so you have these things, and then once it's been all looks good, you can click on review policy. There are very three things which is very important. One is service. If you want to add more permission, right, along with the S3, you wanted to give it a more permission to the same user, you can click on add permission, add additional permissions, and then you can also select a service from here. Okay. But for now, I just want this user to have an S3 access where he can list all the buckets, create bucket, and put objects to them. Okay. Now, it's been as it's been talked about, we have a resources where we say what these actions should be performed on what resources. When you say all resources, this action will be performed on all resources. What we are doing, we are creating a policy, which is a customer managed policy, and I'm showing you how it's been created in AWS. Policies are very important because they decide what actions will be taken care by user, okay, or a role. Over here on the JSON, we have put object, list all my bucket, create bucket, list bucket. These are, if you are good at writing it from the JSON point of view, this is how you can also write the policy. You don't have to go visual editor. You can just click on the tab of JSON and give it a version number and then write your complete statement on it. Okay. All right. So this is how we create and we go. And now what you have to do is you have to click on review policy. Now over here, write your policy name. Let's say Sony policy demo one. Sorry, one. Okay, so any description you wanted to keep it, you can keep that and create policy. Wait for some period of time. It takes a time to create a policy, and once it's been created, you would be able to list them down over here. Okay. So if you just write Sony, you see that the policy has been created. Okay. Now and you see that the type is customer manage. Now right now you also see that it's not been used anyone right away now. Okay, now let's go back to your console management and where we were creating a user, which is a programmatic access, and can attach existing policy directly. We created a create policy button and we created a policy. So we don't want to attach the one which was already there. We wanted to attach the one which we recently created. You see that the result is 617. Just refresh it. Ideally, the outcome should be 618 policies now. And the policy which you're looking for is a Sony Live Demo 1. So it's a 618. Now, if you just type Sony, and you would see that there's a policy which has been created, which is a customer management. Select that and click on Next Tags. You can add multiple policies if you want. Okay, that can be customer or that can be AWS. Okay, we can have a combination of both. Next tags, yes, I wanted to know the org which I'm creating this for. So Sony is the organization, and then we do next review. And once it's done, you can say create user. Okay. Now we will not have an auto-generated password, but we'll have an access key and secret key. Okay. So I'll just copy this access key and secret key and paste it on a chat box. Hold on. Okay, so um, where's that? Okay, it's kind of complex stuff we don't have on the chat box. I'll just put it on chat. This is my access key. And then I would try to copy my secret keys. And on the chat box, I'll paste the secret key as well. Okay, so I have an access key and secret key. And now I'll show you how we can do a login from AWS console management. So let me just share. Okay, so now I have it. So I'll just take you to my virtual machine. So let me stop sharing and share the screen again. I have a virtual box. Okay, so let's do a login. Okay, so we are here. Let me show you how you can configure. First of all, you have to make sure that the AWS CLI has been installed. And how do you show that? Just write AWS version minus minus version, press enter. After that, you would see that what version you are using. This is an AWS CLI, and it's a Python version, there's your Linux, and so on. Okay, so AWS CLI has been configured. So what you have to do is next, if you want to access it programmatically, you will have to say AWS minus minus configure. Okay, so what AWS CLI do is AWS CLI actually um, you know go AWS CLI actually go and create a file when you install AWS CLI, it's going to go and create a file called AWS or sorry, it's called a credential file. Within that credential file, you will have a credentials of all your users. So all your roles, which all your users which you wanted to assume of. So you can locate. Let me just locate that .aws. Okay, and then there is a file called credentials. So if you click on credentials file, sorry, cat. Um, I'll show you how does it looks like. Credentials. Okay, so you have this options over here, which goes like you have lots of profiles. You see this, these are the set of profiles you create, and you provide access key and secret key to them, and then your region as well. So actually AWS CLI, whenever you install them and you configure them, they're going to install and create a file called credential file, and inside that credential file we keep storing the credentials which we frequently gonna use to perform we are going to frequently use them in order um, to do the actions on the AWS account. Okay, so if you are very new to AWS, what you will do is, or you have an access key and secret key, which is a fresh access key and secret key you got, and you're going to use it oftenly. So what you will do is you will say AWS minus minus configure, and then you will write a profile, and then the profile name. Okay, whatever the profile name you wanted to give. So I wanted to give a profile name Sony day one. Okay, you can write whatever profile you wanted to keep that up. You can write whatever you want and then press enter. Okay, what's the error? It says profile. All right. I say AWS configure. Let's see, AWS minus minus help. Okay, AWS configure help. Okay, it will show you the help for that. AWS access key, secret key. Then we have an option called profile and then argument. Cool. Get add AWS configure profile and profile name. Oh, we don't use a minus minus in the configure. All right.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, so AWS configure minus minus profile, and then we'll write a profile name. Profile name would be Sony underscore day one. Now access key and secret key, which we have copied. So I have an access key over here, which I have just copied. So I'll try to paste that part over here. Let's paste it. Great. And then I have an access key, sorry, secret key, which I will copy. Sorry. paste it. Okay, let's keep, copy, and then we'll paste it. Okay, that's the secret key. Press. Default region will keep that US East 1. IAM don't have a region, so that's also, but some of the services works with the region, so we'll keep that US East 1 by default. Keep that output format as none and clear the stuff. So now you have a profile created called Sony Day 1. So if you wanted to do or perform any actions with that particular profile, you can do that. So AWS, let's say, I wanted to create a bucket. Okay, so if I wanted to create a bucket, I can create that with a command from AWS CLI. So that's called a AWS CLI create bucket. Okay, so create bucket. So we'll see that command. Okay, so hop for a minute. Okay. Where's the screen going? Okay. AWS create bucket, then bucket name. What should I write? A bucket name is on. Okay, so I'll write the bucket name. I think it should be create bucket, and bucket name should be Sony demo day 1. So bucket name has to be unique. Okay, if it's a bucket name which is not unique and been taken by someone already, then it's not going to create that. Okay, and then okay, let me see what help we have. I think we each write minus minus bucket, and bucket name is Sony demo day 1, and then we write profile, which profile we wanted to use of Sony demo, I think. Yeah. Oh, okay, so I think that's not the command we use. We use AWS S3 help. Let's see what argument we have in that. We have S3 copy, S3 remove, S3 sync, ls. We want to copy, we want to ls, we want to move, we want to remove, we want to sync, we want to website. Okay. I think we should use S3 API, so let me just copy the command. Okay, and then go ahead, escape, quit. Okay, so it's like AWS S3 API, create bucket, so in this bucket, and then bucket name would be Sony demo day 1, and profile I did created was Sony demo, I think day 1. Okay, we don't find cat. What was the profile, if you guys remember? AWS. Sorry.
It is Sony underscore day 1.
Okay, Sony underscore day 1. So Sony underscore. So we don't have demo, I believe. Okay, so Sony underscore day 1, and then press enter. Okay, so wait for a minute, and invalid bucket name when calling create bucket. Okay, so bucket name should be unique, as I said. So let's say Sony demo 1 day 1. Okay, it's been created, and if you want to see that, you can say AWS S3 ls, and then profile, and then try to see that Sony underscore day 1. It will show you that there's a bucket named as Sony demo day 1. So what we'll do is I'll show you through the console how it looks like. different services which we have. So we talked about AWS, sorry, IAM console management, where a particular person can log in from console and can also log in from can also log in from the console management or from the AWS CLI, right? So we talked about that, and we created a bucket, and inside a bucket we can put an object. We can list the object. If you wanted to list the object of the bucket, we can list that. We can put the object if we want to, but a particular person cannot delete the object. Like he cannot, if he wants, he can put the object inside it. Let's say Sony demo day one. If I want, it's a bucket which is completely empty. So you don't see anything over here. You don't see anything on the permissions. You see object. It's been oh, okay. Someone why do I have wasted it? I'm not sure. I did not do that. Maybe someone from the crowd, the access key and secret key, have tried to paste that.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vasan, I have created Manikanta.
Okay, Manikanta. So Manikanta created this. And okay, so it's a test.txt. Something has been written into it. So let's open that. Okay, so hello for test. So Manikanta has created this file. So Manikanta was able to put the object, but Manikanta cannot delete it because as even the role do not have a permission to delete it. So if you run a command to delete this with that profile which I have given you, will not be able to delete this particular object. I will be able to delete it because I'm the root user. On the top, I'm the root user, so I can delete the file whenever I want. But the role which or the access key secret key which I have shared with you guys, that particular user do not have permissions to delete it. So even if you try that from the console, you won't be able to delete any of the object. You will get an access denied error. Okay, so yeah, so let me go back to IAM again. Back to IAM. Sorry. Sorry.
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, so users, we saw the type of users we can have. Let me delete the user. Okay, fine, delete it. Okay. All right, so we have users, we have roles, we have policies, we have identity provider, we have account settings, access reports, credentials report, organization activities, service control policies, and so on. Okay, so on the IAM, we saw that when we add users, we have, let me just open a paint. So if we talk about specifically IAM in AWS, then we know that we have, sorry, I should be doing that. Okay, so we know that in IAM we have, we have this option where we can create two type of IAM user. Like you can have console, you can have login from the AWS CLI. Okay, AWS CLI actually uses the API of AWS AWS. They uses the API which actually allows them to do the functionality. So IAM is basically you can have a console management screen. So console login, which is a GUI login, or you can have AWS CLI login. In both of the cases, if you are going to do it from AWS CLI, then you need this AWS CLI. And when we have AWS CLI, we have, again, we have access key and we have secret key. From the AWS CLI, we know that we need to, okay, on this we have access key, and then we have secret key, okay, that we know about. And then we, from the other point, if you are working from, on the AWS CLI, you have to configure your profile. Okay, configure profile. That's like you have to create a new profile. And every time the profile is created, all the records are going to be inside a file, which is called a credential file. Okay, which is called a credentials file, which will be created when you install this AWS CLI. Okay, so I am from the console. Is what you give a GUI access of, and on either you are doing it from console or from AWS CLI, both of the services give access or the actions what can be taken care by a user. It all depends on the type of, the policies which you attached. Okay, so the policies which you attach is what completely derive the actions which a user can take, right? So policies plays a very important role, very vital role in our IAM. So we'll try to understand that part as well. So IAM, this is about users, console AWS CLI, we attach policies. In the AWS CLI, we have access key, secret key, all this configured profile that goes to a credential file, which will be created automatically when you use or when you install a AWS CLI. Okay. Having been talked, so we have roles, we have policies. So first, let's see what policies are. Okay. So as we talked about policies as well, we saw um, you know we saw two of the policies, that what are these policies are, for what purpose we use policy. So basically, policy is an object in AWS that when associated with an identity or resource defines their permission. Okay, so AWS gives you the policy and permission. So policy creations, when you create policies, you actually create or you define the actions which will be performed by an identity or resource, which is going to use that policy. Okay, then on the policy we saw that we do have a AWS managed policy, and then we do have customer managed policy. Okay, so we saw that there are types of policies, and this boxes on the top actually define or gives much more clarity that okay, this is a AWS policy, this is managed policy, this is custom policy. So managed policy has been completely managed policy is completely um, being completely managed by an end user. So it's been completely taken by end users. So policies can be created and can be destroyed when it's a customer managed policies. Okay, so we have policies and we just define set of actions into them. So we have different type of policies. We have resource-based policies, we have identity-based policies, we have organization-based policy, access control-based policy, session policies, right? So the one which we talked about is identity-based policies, which we saw just here of now. We have many policies, right? So if we talk about specific to policies, so let me just clear out everything.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.